Hey guys, on this video I will be showing you how to encapsulate real lace fabric into nails. Two of the nails are going to be gel and two of them are going to be with acrylic. So I already have my realistic mannequin hand. I have a review on this realistic hand and how to properly remove every nail tip that you apply to it. I'll link that below. And I did clear tips. I'm going to be using Clear Young Nails Speed Nail Powder as well as their monomer. It's one of my favorite acrylics to use. And just real lace. I got my hands on this a while ago from Joann's fabric store. You can get some from Michael's or anywhere else that you can find any kind of fabric swatches. And I'm just cutting it. So first I'm looking to see what design I want to put on the nail. So just laying it over the nail to see what part of the lace you specifically want, and then cutting a nice little chunk out of it, and then remeasuring to make sure you cut it as exact as possible to have the least amount of fabric on the side walls and the free edge. I mainly try to focus on the cuticle area because I want to make sure that it fits good on the cuticle area, and even if the sidewalls had a little extra fabric or the free edge, I can always cut it after I apply the acrylic or the gel. The brush I will be using when applying my acrylic is the Alpha brush. I'll link it down below as well. It's definitely one of my favorites now. I love it. It applies acrylic smoothly. So there are two products you can use to flatten the lace or any fabric or 3D art you put on top. And right now I had a Ziploc bag, so I cut up the Ziploc bag and that's what I'm using. I usually use saran paper or any plastic clingy paper because it does not stick to acrylic or to gel, and if it does stick just a tiny bit, you can always wipe it off easily. So I start off with a really wet bead, just a tiny bead, just to hold the fabric down, just to hold the lace down. So it's just really small bead. You want to make sure it's wet. You don't want to wait too long for it to dry or harden. And then I get the fabric. I did use my fingers. I'm using my nails, not trying my best to not use too much of my skin because the natural oils from my skin will go onto the nails. But this is a mannequin hand, so I wasn't too careful. But when it is a client, I usually use tweezers or eyebrow pluckers or anything like that. And I put the paper on top, the plastic paper on top, and I squeeze the sides. I press down the center. I make sure the cuticle is really nice and thin, and you just want to press it really tight to make sure all the fabric is as tight and straight as possible. And that's honestly all I do. But with the acrylic, you have to wait until it fully dries, until it fully hardens. The best thing about gel is that you put it on the lamp and that's it, it's done. But with acrylic, you have to give it some time. Now you can also use your brush and press down the fabric and wait, but it also leaves a lot of lumps and imperfections as well, and some of the fabric stays sticking up. So this is the best way that it has worked for me, and I'll show you how flat the fabric is. It's completely flat onto the nail. There's no dips or any imperfections in it, which is awesome. So I remove the acrylic from it, and it did leave a little bit of acrylic because I didn't wait till it fully hardens so it sticks to the fabric, but it's okay. I just spray alcohol, wipe it off, and you can reuse the plastic again. And now I'm just trying to figure out what design I want to do on this nail. So these two nails are going to be the acrylic nails. Once I figure out the design, I of course move it around, trying to figure out what would look best. And I wanted to do all four nails as different as possible so you can get an idea of how many different ways you can use with one pattern of lace. Like I said, this is the most time consuming, just trying to figure out what part you want and cutting it and getting prepared. You can, I guess, pre-cut the lace ahead of time, but it's really, I like it when you can detail it yourself right then and there. It seems more, how do I explain it? It's more detailed and more personal service that you're giving to your client by doing this. And this is something that you don't have to do this way. You can always use a stamp, but it's just the picture you get, the ending results are just amazing. So this is something that I would definitely probably upcharge or do it as one of the accent nails or one of the art nails. it's something that you can definitely charge to do one. I mean, the whole nails, that's a lot to do. It's very out there, but hey, to each is their own. If one of your clients likes this, then definitely, why not? So this one, I wanted to get most of that flower design. It's a lot more of the lace. So like I said, you squeeze the free edge, and you squeeze the side walls, and you press down also on the nail bed, because you want that acrylic to spread evenly without having dips or any imperfections. And you always want to make sure by the cuticle area it's good, but the acrylic is not necessarily dipping into the cuticle area. So that's why I don't put the acrylic too close to the cuticle area, because by the time I press it down, it could move forward, and I just don't want it to get into the cuticle. Yeah, so I'm just waiting, giving it some time to make sure that it completely dries, or at least dries the most it can. I remove it, and you see me here spraying alcohol and just using some towels and some paper towels and wiping it off, and it's ready to go for the next client. And this is how they look after applying them on the nails. Now I'm just going to encapsulate them. For here, it's your choice. You can use color acrylic, you can use tinted acrylic. By tinted acrylic, I mean you can do a few drops of your favorite polish, regular polish, on the monomer, on the liquid of the acrylic, and that will give it like a glass stain look. So you can use clear acrylic, dip it in your color monomer acrylic liquid, and then it'll give that nice like church kind of glass look, if you get what I'm saying. But you can do so much. You can do glitter with this. You can add so much, 3D art into this. It doesn't just have to be lace, but I just wanted to do a simple video just to show you guys how I do my encapsulated lace nails. And I do work with smaller beads, and I always have worked with smaller beads. It's just what I prefer to do. So that's why it takes me a little bit longer, and I work with really wet beads because this is fabric. Now, if you work with drier beads, you'll leave air bubbles in there, and you'll leave a ton of gaps and spaces. Now, like I said, this is a mannequin hand, so I did work a little bit faster than I normally would if it was a client. When it is a client, I take a little bit longer because I want to make sure that if a client is paying for this, they don't get any issues with the nails. On one of the nails, I know specifically with gel, I did leave some air bubbles, and that is because I overworked the gel. So when you work the gel a lot, you tend to create bubbles and things like that. So like I said, this is just me showing you guys a quick little video of how I do this. But if you really want to be very detailed and very clean, take your time and make sure that you remove any air bubbles, that you completely soak the fabric with monomer and very wet beads of acrylic so that it can go in between the fabric and not just on top. You want to fully seal the nail from the bottom to the top, not just on top, because like I said, there'll be air bubbles that can lead up to easily lifting, breaking, water getting trapped in there, all that bad stuff. So you just want to take your time and make sure you do the best you can here. And like I said, if you have any fabric coming off still on the free edge or on the side walls, do not worry. Just go ahead and encapsulate what you can. You can use your electric file or hand file off the rest of the fabric, and it'll easily come off with no issues. Now I'm going to show you how I used clear rubber base. This is from the gel bottle, and this is their gel, the builder gel. So I'm using the base, and I'm putting a very thin layer of the base into the nail, the entire nail, after being dehydrated with acetone, because this product specifically states that you have to dehydrate the nail with acetone in order for the product to fully adhere. As soon as I figure out the design, I just go right ahead and put it. I press down very gently. Like I said, this is a mannequin hand, so there's no worries to use your fingers. But if it is a client, you might want to use a glove or some tweezers or something to press down the product, because the natural oils of your fingers are going to go into the fabric and into the acrylic. So when you sandwich that, when you put acrylic on top of that, you have oils in between there. So now I'm using the plastic bag, and I am making sure the cuticle area is good, making sure the sidewalls are perfect, making sure the free edge is good, and putting it into the lamp. Now, once you put it into the lamp, it's going to cure. So it's going to harden. So if you didn't fully seal the sidewalls or the free edge, it's going to be sticking up. So that's the only bad thing about a gel. With acrylic, you have time to move things around. But with gel, once it's hardened, that's it. It's done. It's cured. So I just remove all the extra fabric with the scissors that I can, of course, and then I can just add on the piles of gel. And when it comes to fabric or lace or 3D art or anything like that, I like to work in thin layers as well with gel. You could easily just grab a big ball and just throw it on top, but I like to work with it. I like to move it around and make sure that it is where it should be. And since these are longer nails, I've done lace nails on clients, but they have been like short to medium length. I haven't necessarily done really long nails like this, so it did take me a little bit longer to fully encapsulate the nails. And I did keep adding gel, but I keep going back into the bottle because I'm literally almost at empty with this bottle. And it looks like I'm applying a ton, but I'm really not. It's at the end. So I do end up switching to a more inexpensive bottle because this one was completely empty, which is very sad because I love this gel. Builder in a bottle is one of my favorite gels to use. So I do switch it because I felt like I needed more. I wasn't building as much as I should. I kept going in there digging out as much as I possibly can, which is sad. So this is me using the other builder in a bottle, and it's easier because you can tell I grabbed a whole ton more gel. It's easier for me to fill it up. So it does take a lot of gel because it is a long nail, and I do want to make sure that I build a nice C curve. Now, since I'm done with that one, I want to make sure on my last nail, I want to do something different. I want to do it like halfway or having a little bit of the clear nail peek through, because you can do this however you want. It is your choice to design this and do this however you want. There's no right or wrong way of doing this, honestly. I feel like nails are art and you design however you choose to do this. And I wanted to do the thinner part of the lace, the more transparent part, and just kind of do it with some of the nail peeking through, some of the see-through nail peeking through, because that looks really nice depending on the client's, of course, preference. But all the other ones are fully covered, and I thought this way would be such a cute different idea as well. So I do a thin layer of the gel before applying the lace fabric. As soon as I figure out the design, I go ahead and lay it down. I try my best to just use my nails because I don't want any traces of oil. And now I'm using the plastic bag, and I am making sure that I'm sealing the sidewalls and the free edge and sticking it into the lamp. But like I said, you can use plastic wrap. They have some at the dollar store. Like you can buy a whole pack for $1, and it's like the rolls that you can, like the ones you put on top of your Tupperwares, just fully sealed food, you know, and store it. But if not, you can use Ziploc bags. I mean, go to dollar store, buy a whole pack of Ziploc bags and just cut those up. But it's really your choice, whatever works for you, whatever you think you would like to use. It's just these are easy because they don't stick to the product and it's not hard to remove. You literally only have to wipe it off just a little bit if there's any residue of the product on there. And now I'm encapsulating this lace that I found, and this is the one that I did do air bubbles, and now that I'm going over the video I can definitely tell why, because they're forming because I keep rubbing it back and forth. So you just want to be careful, making sure that you don't completely press down on the brush when you're adding the gel. You want to let the gel flow. You want to let the brush flow over the gel and gently move it around, just like I'm doing here. Very gently moving it around left and forth. Oh my god, what is wrong with me today? Back and forth to make sure that you just don't get any imperfections in the nail. Also, make sure you turn your client's nails and fingers left and right, up and down, every angle you can think of to make sure you got every single part. And this is how the nails look after being filed. I filed off camera, and I used just a nail file. I didn't use my drill because it was very little amounts that needed to be filed. And I'm using my favorite top coat. This is from Couture. This is the shiny gel top coat. It's one of my favorites, and I'm already empty, my second empty bottle. But it's still trying. I'm still trying to get every single drop I possibly can. That's why I keep going back in and in the bottle to get as much as I can. But yeah, this is the end of the encapsulating acrylic. And now you just top coat it, which is the most, I don't know, I feel like this is the most relaxing part of doing nails. The end result and seeing how the product looks after a top coat. Now, another thing is, as well, since these are more of a transparent, you can definitely do the lace fabric on top of color acrylic. That is definitely your choice, whatever you choose. I would just do it very, very thin underneath and then do the lace and then encapsulate, because you don't want bulky, thick nails. But since these are transparent, you want to make sure that you clean and dust off the back of your client's nails so that you can polish it with a top coat and have that nice glass transparent look to the nails as well. After top coating, putting some cuticle oil on. I know it's a practice hand, but I still do cuticle oil. I don't know why, it's habit. I do cuticle oil and I use a brush, I dust it off, and I wash my mannequin hand. And this is the final look. This is how encapsulated lace nails look. At least my encapsulated way of doing them. If you have any other way of doing them, or if you've seen any other way, I would be more than happy to hear and try. I'm definitely very open to trying new ways. There's, to me, no right or wrong way of doing things. I just like seeing what's out there and seeing what works for me specifically. I really do hope you guys enjoyed this and that you like this. Go ahead and comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see more fun videos. Thank you guys so much for everything. I am close to 7,000 subscribers. I'm so excited and happy. Thank you guys so much for watching.